Good morning, everybody. This is the Wednesday, March 12th, 2025 Jupyter Frontends and Accessibility meeting. My name is Eric Gentry. Let's see, let's take a look at the agenda. Welcome to anybody who's new here. Glad to have you. Let's see. So it looks like we have one item on the agenda so far. Mike?
Yeah, so the item for today is JupyterLab 4.4 and the timeline for the final release. I think we are in a pretty good place with beta 0 being out for available for testing for 3 weeks now, and we have a user-facing changelog written up in a pull request. Unless someone reviewed it recently, just before this meeting, it still needed a review. But even if there is a review already, another review or quick quick look through to catch any typos wouldn't hurt. So anyone on this call, please do, if you can, have a quick look by clicking the link to the rendered version. And once this is in, and after Jeremy had time to address or at least confirm where the licenses PR stands, we will be releasing a new beta and try to announce it, I think, more widely on social media. And we can start working on a blog post, and for the next week, assuming that no release blockers are identified, we could prepare an RC, or maybe we could make an RC regardless of that, right? Because release blocker is blocking an RC from becoming a final, not a beta from becoming an RC. So this is like a final call for anyone who has any objection to making an RC happen next week on next Wednesday, to raise this objection and tell why the pull request should absolutely go in before it's too late.
I think there is the pull request about the subshells for the comms that I don't know if we want to give it a bit of time for testing during beta.
Yes, so I saw that there has been an issue identified, and I was hoping it would get into the release today. I don't know if it will be ready by today, but I think we can, like, if it's ready tomorrow or early next week, we can still include it, especially if this is going to be released as a non-default. Now, I think it's a bit late to release this new thing with enabled by default if we are not confident about how stable it is.
Yeah, but I think it's disabled by default in the current state, right?
Yeah,
Which is
it
fine.
was the case. I was just
Yeah.
suggesting to let's enable it by default for the duration of beta. But if
Mm,
it's being merged late, maybe we don't need to flip that anyways, and
okay.
just ask people to test it as much as possible, and then later on we can switch the default.
Yeah, it sounds good like this.
We have anything else here?
I should have added something. Or are you talking about this point, or are you talking on the agenda?
Any remaining points on the current item? I think we're kind of done with that, so let's go ahead and move on to Vidar.
Right. Yeah, I added a point on the agenda. Well, I opened up two VIP or draft PRs that are in workable states for testing, but it's not. I still need unit tests and like translations and all of that bells and whistles for it. But it is about adding support for non-US keyboards. I can share my screen if that's okay to just quickly demo how it works.
Yeah, go ahead.
Since I also have a non-US keyboard, so that will hopefully help. Screen number 2. So this is a build of lab where I have this running, and this is just the shortcuts view in the settings currently. I've added two custom shortcuts with non-US keys. One is a key that is on the Norwegian keyboard, on the character where the US keyboard has the quote character, and one is one from the French keyboard on the same key. So if I hit this key on my keyboard, depending on which keyboard layout I use, I will either get a quote character, an A, or this French U character. So I have this other setting thing here called the keyboard layout. Currently, I'm just using the default of English, and if I hit my key, nothing happens. If I switch this to be the Norwegian map, it registers that I hit an A key and toggles the left-hand side. If I switch it to French, it toggles the right one. You saw there was a little bit delay while it was still saving. I was a little bit too quick to hit the button, but if I now hit it, it will just generate or open up this. If I had a Danish keyboard, which I don't, the same A button would be on a different key, so that should also work. I haven't been able to test that. I'm also now in Chrome, even though that isn't my default browser normally, because they have support for this experimental web API where they use the keyboard layout from the browser. So now you see, oh, demo effect. Okay, that didn't work. No, wait, I am on an English keyboard. So I set up an English keyboard in Windows. If I now switch this to be a Norwegian keyboard, it should work. Does it not? Oh, I hit the wrong key. There you go. It now detects that even though this is the default, as the description here says, it detects the browser layout, and then it says that, oh, you're using Norwegian, so now this A key will toggle on the left-hand side. If you're not on like Chrome or you're in Firefox, you can either use any built-in maps that get listed with Lumino. Currently, that branch only has 3, but you can also build your own. So if you focus this field, you can kind of just click all the buttons on your keyboard, and we'll kind of map it out. And if I now add this as something, it will list it here. And if you have a fully captured one, you can display it like this to see what is the like a captured keyboard. As you can see that the one I just clicked here doesn't have a full layout. So that's kind of the state of that.
Yeah. Impressive.
Yeah, I figured I would want to get some input on it before I put in all of the work on translations and testing and stuff like that. So like any early feedback points would be good either here on the call or on the PRs themselves. Especially I guess on the Luminal side, it can be good to settle first.
Is there a data model for this that can be built not in here? Is that
So yeah, so there is there's a JSON structure, of course, for this, right? Keyboard layouts, there we go. Right, it's just a list of text. It just has the code map. This is the code key that this browser recognizes, and this is the actual key, right? So that's the English one. The Norwegian ones are in the and French ones are on the Luminal PRs, if you see them there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, because I thought there was somewhere out there was a broadly distributed spec with tools that already exist for it, so you don't have to build it yourself.
So this one uses the thing that is already in Lumino, but currently there's only ever been English US. There's been
Right.
support for you to add other things to it, but this PR for Lumino also, where is my tab? It also extends it a bit from just working with code maps.
Yeah.
Or codes, like this number codes. It also extends it to having these like modern keys or key codes is what I guess they call it, to keys.
Yeah.
So this one aligns pretty well with the what do you call it, like the browser API ones that is still experimental. Where did I put that?
Yeah, it's just like when you get to the chording and all that stuff, like we don't want to reinvent that.
This one has nothing to do with shortcut building and chording and stuff like that. This is just for getting what is the print of the key you pushed.
Yeah. Okay.
So this one is kind of a layer below chording and all of that
Good.
stuff,
Wonderful. Wonderful.
or at least orthogonal to it.
Yeah, I mean, my point is, if there was an existing store of thousands of keyboard maps for everybody's special little butterfly, dragonfly, mechanical keyboard, whatever thing, we should support that if we can. But that doesn't have to be at the Lumino layer. Lumino doesn't have to have that opinion, but Lab should.
Yeah, I agree.
Vidar, can you explain two things again? Well, one of them I don't think you explained, but one is, what were the browser constraints again?
Sorry, what was which constraints do you mean?
What browsers can do this? All of them? Is this
So all browsers can use the maps that you come either with Lumino or that you build yourself in that DLI.
Uh-huh.
There is another web API that's experimental called Keyboard Layout Map. It has limited availability. Currently, it's only like I think WebKit based one. No, Safari doesn't have it. Yeah, okay. So there's like a list here. Firefox, Safari doesn't have it basically.
Okay. I see. So if we've added the keyboard layouts ourselves, it'll work. It's just this will make more discoverable from the web API that isn't widely available.
Is there a polyfill?
So I guess I haven't added support for that on the Lumino side. Are the diff not searchables?
So the keyboard layout map, it's just a map, basically. It's like mapping from the key codes or key name to the other one.
Yeah.
Like it could be polyfilled, but the other thing, the get layout map, it's or rather like knowing which map the operating system has. This cannot be resolved on Firefox, and that was a deliberate decision.
Yeah, it's a privacy
by
concern,
Firefox
right?
authors many years ago, like 6 years ago. They say, no, this is harmful. This will allow you to profile the users, and they will not support it.
The similar argument, therefore, on the Chrome side, we're saying like, if you just listen to the keyboard events on the entire page, you can kind of implicitly build a fingerprint of the keyboard layout. But yeah, you can be your own judge of whether you believe in that or not. I think just that if you're already using Chrome, you're already exposed to this. So us using that doesn't add anything extra risks. So it's just that if we detect that this API is available, we will use it. So if I go back to my Chrome tab, that's why this is just a checkbox with the default is true. So that on Chrome, it will just work out of the box. On Firefox, you will have to pick the keyboard layout yourself and maybe capture your keyboard first. Ideally, there could be like a button for these, like after you captured it, there was like the buttons like submit to Lumino or something like that.
my second question was in the Lumino PR, what is it about this functionality that you think it ought to be a standalone package and not part of the keyboard package?
So on the Lumino PR, currently I have changes in like 2 packages, the keyboard one, and I've added a new one called keyboard capture, but I
Yeah.
ended up not using that in the JupyterLab one because there everything has to be React based and this is widget based. And I currently I'm only just use this in like the keyboard capture example. So I was thinking of just moving all the code here into the example instead.
Sweet. Okay, cool.
So I probably wouldn't add this package. I would just modify this package. And then the question was, all of these layouts, when you start adding other languages that you want to make available to users, should these be a part of the keyboard package? Should they be a separate package with all of the non-default, non-English maps? So that's just a question of size. I don't think there are that many bytes, but I assume like if you get like 100 of them, I don't know how many there are. It might add up. I don't know.
Yeah, I found, so there's a link in there for QMK firmware. List was truncated over 1,000. So there's a lot. People have already done all this work. So whether Lumino supports that or Lab supports that, that's just, you know.
Yeah, so there is just like a basic class here that constructs these and allows you to use these utility functions. So if we had like a layer that would allow us to use an existing package and kind of convert those into these Lumino native ones, all we need is this mapping, right?
Can we, instead of shipping that on the Lumino level, have nothing but English in Lumino and ship everything else on JupyterLab language packs level? Because we already have language packs where we ship languages, and what keyboard clients are not exactly languages, but they are correlated with languages. Like for each language, there is one or more keyboard clients. So I don't know if it's a good idea, but it's a possibility.
That might make sense. There's
Yeah,
nothing.
But the problem we get from the field is, you know, people have crazy homebrew keyboards that they expect stuff to work in.
Yeah, but so that's why
the
I have like a capture thing, right? So if you have your own custom keyboard, that there is no existing one on your own, just focus this field, click all the keys, chords on your all the keys on your keyboard one at a time, and it will capture it. And you can do it like this, or you can then go even into the JSON editor and you can manually edit it like here, and that will just be stored in your JupyterLab settings. So there's like a fallback if your layout isn't captured by anything default. But yeah, back to Mike's point, there's nothing inherent about these PR that says all of these layout packages should be in the Lumino package. I just wanted to put them in there for the PR sake so that people can test them and work and understand what it's doing. I'm happy to revert these things and only have like the English and the browser API backed one in the keyboard package.
Well, great work, Vidar. It looks really good. I think other people have been giving some reactions to that effect. So thanks for working on this. Do you feel pretty good about the changes that you or the feedback that you received?
Oh, for sure.
Cool.
It was really useful. But yeah,
great.
Feel free to also capture that on the PR.
Yeah. Does anybody have anything else with this? Okay, I think that's all the agenda items we have. Anybody have anything else before we go off record? All right, gonna end the recording. Everybody brace yourselves.